There are always questions and discussions about Rogers' shell ply amounts and wood composition. I want to clear some of that mystery up for you. In the mid-1950s, Rogers were supplied shells by Jasper Wood Products out of Indiana. These shells were 3-ply maple with 3-ply re-rings. But nothing is an absolute because sometimes these 3-ply shells showed up with 2-ply re-rings as seen here. And also, there are some Rogers 6-ply Jasper shells with 3-ply re-rings floating around, which to my eye look to be the Gretsch formula shells with 3-ply re-rings installed, possibly pulled from stock to fill orders. Here is also a 6-ply shell with a 2-ply re-ring, rare but they are out there. These shells have a rounded bearing edge and flat wide re-rings. Jasper shells often have these gaps showing the staggered ply construction, which Rogers called perma-built. You do not see these gaps in the later Keller shells. These Jasper shells will have butt joints on both the shell and the re-rings. In 1961, by recommendation of Ellis Tolan, Rogers changed the bearing edge and re-ring design to a sharp 45-degree edge and doubled angled re-rings on the inner and outer portions. This coincided with the inception of the Dynasonic snare drum. Around 1965, when business at Rogers was really picking up, according to Ben Strauss, Jasper was having trouble keeping up with filling order demand. So Rogers would seek an additional supplier and stumbled upon the relatively new to the drum shell business at the time, Keller Shells out of New Hampshire. Keller would become the primary shell supplier for Rogers, but not the exclusive shell supplier, for you will see Jasper shells show up on Rogers drums sporadically all the way into the 1970s. These Keller shells will be 5-ply maple shells with 5-ply maple re-rings and will always have butt joint shells and scarf joint re-rings. Both Jasper and Keller used an ABC system with their shells. A, having whole outer and inner plies for drums that wouldn't be wrapped and would have a natural interior. B, having a whole outer ply but segmented inner ply. And C was segmented inner and outer ply. I've spoken extensively about the shell composition studies we have conducted over the years with a microscopic wood species specialist. You can hear much more about this in detail in the Drum History podcast episode I did with Bart Vanderzee on Covington era drums that I will link below. That shell composition study continues to this day, and I thank our many financial backers for allowing that to continue. I won't go into detail about that here, but I will tell you that in every study we've submitted, the only results that have come back so far have been pure maple. These 5-ply Keller shells lasted all the way up to the advent of the XP8 shell. Here's a little trick to help you figure out if you have a 3-ply or 5-ply shell power tone or tower. If your vent grommet is one panel away from the strainer, you have a 3-ply Jasper shell. If the vent grommet is on the panel next to the strainer, you have a 5-ply Keller shell. I highly recommend checking out my friend Eddie Avakian's videos on both Jasper and Keller. I'll link them in the description. His videos are phenomenal. The Drum History podcast link will be there as well. Thanks for watching.